Hello boys and girls, how are we all doing? Many boys. I want to talk about something which is extremely important, and this is about understanding female nature, and this is going to help explain why you've not had the results that you want when it comes to dating. Now, let me just turn around because there is a big, disgusting pothole. So, within the manosphere, within the male self-improvement space, there is this word that gets thrown around called sexual market value. Now, SMV, you may have heard it by. Now, what is sexual market value? Sexual market value is basically your value in the sexual marketplace. But what is the sexual marketplace? It's like the dating world, right? So let's imagine 100 guys and girls, or 100 people at a club. There's 50 guys, 50 girls, right? Amongst those guys and girls, there's going to be a varying degree of their value sexually, right? Some guys will be extremely good looking, they may be professionals, athletes, they may be celebrities, rappers, right? They may be Instagram famous. Because of this, their value sexually and their ability to attract the other sex will be much, much higher. Whereas, think about the average loser. Maybe he lives at home with his parents, he's broke, he's not in good shape, he's got a horrible beard, haircut, all these different things. His sexual market value is going to be very low. Now, you can imagine that's going to have a very large impact on his ability to attract women, which is important because you've clicked on this video because you want to attract more women, which is what I'm going to teach you how to do with an understanding of female nature that your mother will not and has never told you before, right? So one massive theory, not even a theory, like just a thing that exists, right? In order for a woman to actually find you attractive is discrepancy between her value and your value. Now, going off sexual market value in this concept, there is something called hypergamy. Now, hypergamy basically explains how women date, and women date by basically they look for like the strongest guy that can take care of them. I don't mean strongest in terms of physically, I mean mentally, sexually, his value, many different factors, right? But whatever she deems to be the highest value guy in her eyes, that's who she wants to date. Now, when I say discrepancy, I mean discrepancy between how she views you and how she views herself. So essentially, in order for a woman to find you extremely attractive and want to be submissive, be loyal to you, faithful, basically be the woman you want her to be, there has to be a large amount of discrepancy between how she views herself and how she views you. This explains why you'll find girls who are hot, really hot and attractive, but they date guys who aren't very attractive. This is simply because how she views him in comparison to how she views herself is very different. And at that point in time, she thinks that he's better than her. Maybe he's abusive, maybe he makes her feel shit, maybe she just has very bad self-esteem, which is why she thinks that he is worthy of her, right? And that's why this works, and that's why this explains why girls who are hot will date ugly guys. Now, in order for a relationship to survive long-term, this has to occur hypergamously, and also in terms of sexual market value and its discrepancy. A woman has to be below you. Now, I don't mean below you in terms of being like less of a human, like not deserving certain human rights, but I mean you have to offer more, right? You have to be more. She has to literally look up to you and think you are this amazing guy who can add so much value to her life, guide her, lead her, be a masculine guy, right? That's what it means to be a masculine guy. Now, how does this actually look? This means you being this guy has things going for him, is confident, is masculine, has ambitions in his life. And this doesn't mean you have to be this fucking millionaire, because you'll always get guys who are losers who can create this discrepancy between him and this woman, right? But it means that she perceives you to have more going on than her. Now, a lot of this comes down to the frame control, your energy, your vibe, right? The way you talk to her, the way you talk about yourself, all of these things are going to tie into her perception of you. This is why, for example, negative self-talk is something you can never do. You can never talk down about yourself, especially in front of her. I advise you never do it anyway, but you can never do this in front of her, because as soon as you do, guess what? Her estimation of you starts to go down. Another example, if you try to explain your value to her, try to tell her, I drive this car, I make this much money, my dick's this big, I do this, I do that, right? Because you are trying to explain your value, she must think that if you're having to explain something, then there must be like a kind of deficit or discrepancy between where she needs you to be and where you currently are. Like, for example, let's say you're a very successful guy and you walk into a room and other guys know you for being successful and you're a famous guy. Maybe you're a celebrity. You're not going to have to explain your value, because people will already know who you are. They will understand your value intrinsically because of various reasons. Whereas if you walk into a room full of rich, successful people and you're telling them, oh, I make this much money, I drive this car, I do this, they're going to think this guy's full of shit, or he is insecure, right? He feels the need to explain himself. So these are some of the things that you have to understand with women, because when she feels like there is not a large enough discrepancy between you and her, then she's not going to date you and she's not going to consider you. And if you've been on dates with a girl and it hasn't worked out, or maybe she's ghosted you, maybe she dumped you, a large part of this, or the main part of this is going to be because she simply didn't think you were valuable enough. Now, this is offensive at its core. You should be disrespected by it, and you should use this to increase your understanding and awareness of women so that you can do better with women. Now, there's so many fucking things that go into you increasing your discrepancy between you and her, and you creating this frame of you that seems more valuable. And how do I know this to be true? Every single experience I've ever had with a woman that was successful, any single girl I've ever dated, there was always a massive discrepancy in who I was and who they viewed me to be, right? Or who they were, sorry. There was always a massive discrepancy and who I was compared to them. And these girls were literally obsessed with me. Like, they chased me around like I was the fucking best thing ever. Like, I was literally celebrity. They looked up to me with these puppy dog fuck me eyes. Like like I was a drug. Like, they literally could not get enough of me. And that's how I know that what I'm saying is true, because when you experience this, you can never go back to anything else. Once you've had a woman who has genuine burning desire for you and is absolutely obsessed with you and your entire being because you offer more than what she does, then you'll never go back to anything other than this. Like, she will worship you like you are a fucking god. And I'm not gonna lie, obviously this feels very, very good. This feels amazing. This is what all men are chasing, is what all men want. Because when we have this, like, this is like actually fulfillment for us, right? And once we find a woman who gives us this, we're very satisfied. And what I've said is how you create this. Now, obviously, I explain all of this in a paid community, and I'm not gonna bullshit you guys. I make tons of videos on this. Like, you can go through my TikTok, my Instagram, my YouTube, and I have videos explaining a lot of these topics and concepts that I've learned over the decade of me dating a lot of women, right? Over 100 girls I've dated, girlfriends, stations. That's how I've gained my experience. Or you jump into my community with my other guys, and you learn that way. And there's two variants to this. There's like there's the full-on coaching where I work with guys for 3 months. You have multiple live calls per week with me personally. You have the video course as well, which I prescribe as homework. You have me on WhatsApp to speak to me every day, ask me questions. Or there's the cheaper version, which is the videos only, which is a one-time payment. You get lifetime access to. Now, this is priced relatively cheap for a decade of learning. It's up to you if you want to join in this and join my other clients who are doing this and changing their lives. Up to you, right? You'll see the link in my bio below, a little preview video of me explaining things in greater depth. But yeah, guys, next time you date, or even just in your past experiences, if you've had not the experiences you want, this is going to explain why this is the case. So I hope this has cleared things up. Until the next video, see you all later.